Well, we're winding down here in our Chapter 1 of our Integration Services 2008 course. And we've got 3 videos here right in a row that are all about what's new. Now, there is one final section after this. So in a couple of seconds, I'm going to explain to you why you may not need to watch this set of videos. But I do want to highlight this very last part over here, installing the samples, that if you do want to skip this what's new section because you're brand new to SSIS or for whatever reason, do make sure that you do watch the final video in Chapter 1 on how to install the sample databases. We will be using those in later videos, Chapters 2 on, so that we can do some pretty intense stuff. Okay? So we're almost done. We've got 3 videos here on what's new in Integration Services 2008. And let me just kind of make sure you understand what I mean when I say what's new in SQL Server Integration Services 2008. What I'm really talking about is what's new and different in SQL Server 2008 that wasn't in SQL 2005 SSIS. Okay, so see, you might be coming to this from DTS, from the old SQL 2000. Well, this section isn't going to help you in any way. This section is really here for somebody coming from SQL Server 2005's SSIS and wanting to know what's different between SSIS 2005 and SSIS 2008. You want to know about SQL Server 2000. Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so if you're coming from SQL Server 2000, you can safely skip this video and the other 2 videos in this What's New section of Chapter 1. So we'll talk about that in the final chapter, Chapter 9. If you're brand new to SQL Server 2008, or if this is your first exposure to SSIS, don't watch these videos. This is just going to confuse you. Just go ahead and go to the samples then. And of course, if you just wanted to, you can skip it. I give you permission. Okay, I'm assuming once I've gotten to this screen and you're still with me that you want to know. So here's the thing. SSIS 2008 is not a radically different release than the prior version, SSIS 2005. There are not many new features and not that many new features. Most of the time you're going to see improved, enhanced in terms of keywords in a what's new in SSIS 2008 type of a book or an article or a document or video, etc. And so we're going to cover a lot of this stuff here. Now, and just to further add to this, a lot of the new, most discussed features that we deal with in SSIS 2008 are actually features of SQL Server 2008 that we can take advantage of using SSIS. And I'll talk about those as we develop through these next couple of videos. But we'll talk about change data capture, the merge statement, the new data types. These 3 garner at least half, if not 75% of the buzz about new features in SSIS. Yet they're really features of SQL Server's database engine, and we can do things with them inside of SSIS. So what we're going to do in this video is get the easy ones out of the way. We're going to talk about the changes that are the most obvious. We've talked already enough, I think, in Chapter 1 about the Visual Studio. If you are just coming to this section without having previously watched the Visual Studio, then I'll just kind of break it down for you here. We're now in Visual Studio 2008 versus 2005. You can use the Visual Studio 2008 to edit your SSIS 2005 packages. One word, though, of caution: it will upgrade those packages to work with Visual Studio 2008. So it will make some changes internally to that package structure. So beware of doing that. Now, my favorite little one of these big obvious ones is the fact that I can now use whichever language, whichever .NET language I'm more comfortable with. So I can do Visual Basic. I can now also do C#. And so in SSIS 2005, we were limited to only using Visual Basic. Now, if you want to use C#, go for it. There's also just this is one of those minor things that, if a test question came up, you'd care about. VSTA in SQL Server 2008 versus VSA in SSIS 2005. These are listed down here at the bottom. You can kind of see right down there what they stand for. Um, this really doesn't make that big of a difference. It matters in the sense that in 2008 we no longer have to get kludgy with respect to how to deal with assemblies. So I did the SSIS 2005 video course, and I found that something surprised me. Some of the most popular videos from that was how to get your own custom .NET assemblies or third-party .NET assemblies to work within SSIS. And I got so much feedback on those videos. You don't really have to do that goofiness that we used to have to do in 2005 because we're not using this separate environment, the VSA. So I've got the little crystal ball over here because we will cover that in detail in Chapter 7. So that's all, the whole chapter is about using .NET and working with .NET. One, I don't know, goofiness, strange behavior, weirdness is Microsoft is trying to pimp this codeplex.com website, and they're going so far as to removing now the samples from the DVD and from the download, and you must now go download them. So they're bloating the samples so much and the code base so much as we're just running out of disk space. I guess they had to make the decision, well, I don't want to have to print 2 DVDs for SQL Server just so we can put the samples on, which the samples aren't that big. I don't understand it, but you have to go download these. This is what the last video of this particular chapter will show you. It is, oh man, it's a nightmare. That site is good luck. Let me just say that, okay? A lot of cool stuff on that site, okay? I'll just end with that, and I'll show it to you on the final video of this. So you have to download them here. They're just not pre-installed anymore. Now, that ends the most obvious, the easy stuff, if you will. From this point, I break it down into two things. Either things that are obvious, things you can touch and feel and do and see, or things that are under the covers, things that you can't necessarily see, but they're there for you to take advantage of. Now, those are my terms. That's not what you're going to read in the Microsoft Press materials there. So the obvious new features, this is going to manifest itself when you see a new task, a new connection, a new tool, new options in a wizard. You'll know if you've spent some time in SSIS 2005, hey, I don't remember that. What is this new cache transformation? I've never seen that before. I don't know what that is. Okay, that's how you know that it's an obvious new feature. And the under the covers things are, they don't have that visual element, for example. Like we have one of the things that we're going to take a look at in a couple of videos from now is the new way to do memory dumps and how to troubleshoot some of our packages when things go awry. And that's not something that you're going to see a visual element for. You're going to have to know about it, know how to go find this information, know how to generate that information. And so it's not as simple as clicking a box somewhere, for example. So those are your under the covers, and we'll talk about those. We're going to start with the obvious ones first. That kind of makes, I think, the most sense. So let's just do that here in the next video.